Baramus Tower of Light friends out there. We are on our way to visit Arends and Kobus. It's a lovely Wednesday morning, the 5th of April, and we are going to be doing our 11th program today.
We are so excited.
We are so very excited to share all the wisdom with you, and it's going to be program K, and it's going to be cast out children. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy it and receive all of the wisdom that all of you guys need. And so yeah, we are on our way. We will see you now. Bye.
That's a very beautiful tree out there, don't you think? Oh, the smell. What do you think about it? Nice.
And the taste.
Yes, and the taste. Team Baramus, Tower of Light, are we ready to share ancient wisdom secrets with our friends?
As ready as always.
Hi to all our Baramus Tower of Light friends out there. Welcome to another visit here in Volentalavaa, Bloemfontein, South Africa. Please feel welcome here with us. Yes, we know you are going to enjoy the visit here with us. This is so awesome to have you here. It feels as if you are already inside the building. In today's program, which is program K, we lift the veil on why or how some Western children become what is generally known as cast out children. Oh, and I'm not smiling about that. Later on you will hear, not in the ordinary sense that I'm going to explain, but all of us are also cast out children. Yes, we will tell you about it. That is why we laugh about it. It's not painful anymore. Not only cast out children, these cast out children become cast out adults.
Remember that there are millions of people in need of this spiritual knowledge and ancient wisdom secrets. Please have an open heart and an open hand and press that subscribe buttons, like and share buttons, as well as that little bell icon to be in line for more spiritual knowledge and ancient wisdom secrets. There's no better place on earth for us to be sharing some wisdom.
Yep.
Exactly.
100%.
If you're one of those mothers and fathers who cannot understand why one of your children became a cast out in society, then you are watching the correct program. We have answers you are looking for.
Yes, take note please. Viewer discretion is advised, and now I'm very serious. We are going to discuss matters regarding sexual intercourse. None one of us are medical doctors or so, but on our own terms. You know, we don't know all the medical terms, so if you are underage or you are sensitive to the term sexual intercourse or anything that has to do with it, please do not watch this specific program. You can watch the others again, but then you're welcome to skip this one. We have respect for your personal views on this matter, and really you are so welcome to switch over to another program, etc. But of course I know you are going to stay, but let's give them a countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we can proceed. Thank you.
The world is referring to these cast out children among first world nations as the lost generations. These are the Western children born after the year 1980.
Yes, Eliska, and this lost generation is not only to be found among white people here in South Africa, but among all white people worldwide.
Where do these or this lost children come from, Ernst?
Nikita, I cannot report on the so-called lost generations of other Western or Eastern countries. I can only report on the Western white children here in our own country, South Africa. They did not arrive on earth as dark side Nephilims or fall out of the air or something, or from other lower or higher vibrating dimensions. They were born here on earth like all other children.
Ernst, are
Yes.
they the offspring of the dark side Nephilim that you just referred to?
No, Eliska, not that I am aware of. These children came into life like any other children before them.
Ernst, on behalf of our Paramis viewers and friends, who I think would like to ask the question, what happened that these cast outs,
Or this course.
this cause of this degradation
Degrading.
of the Western European children here in South Africa?
Kavosi and our viewers out there, a lot happened here in South Africa. Unfortunately, most mind-controlled Western people in Africa will, due to their state of mind control, is not able to understand and or believe in what the main reason in true reality are or is. I will try my best so that they can also understand what I'm going to explain. There are in fact more than one reason why people turn out to be cast outs in their different societies. The main reason is most of them are people who were born after the year 1980. There are in fact people born long before the year 1980 who are also cast outs due to the main reason I will explain later. Maybe people will understand better if I start with why they are in place and how can we recognize them as cast outs of society. For you out there watching this program, I would like to tell you how children dressed here in South Africa and were raised before the year 1980. This is where we come from, the old age ones, you know. The ones they refer to as between biltong and dust. You know what biltong is? It's dry meat. But in any case, yes, I come from that era, and children were generally raised extremely strict by their parents. I remember because I was one of those previous generation children. I was born on the 11th day of November in the year 1956. Ooh, long before 1980. Ooh. I know how we were raised then and how children are raised today. In my childhood years, children was allowed to be children. They were raised to know good manners. In those days, we did not know psychologists, you know, like in nowadays. There were psychologists in those days. However, naughty or disrespectful children were beaten by their parents.
Actually,
Yes.
those times, your mother was a doctor, your mother was a psychologist, she was everything. If
Everything.
you have a problem, she just give you one smack and the problem was solved.
Definitely, or your father would smack you, and that is, you don't want to you know, feel that ever after again. So, we did not have legislation like now, where the parents must be extremely obedient towards their extremely strict children who are in command of their own lives and do whatever pleases them to do. No, if we dared to talk while adults were in conversation, we were certain of a very painful beating. As small children, we were allowed to play then, or when there was time to play. Work always came first. Our parents taught us to plan and organize every day for the better. Our hair was cut neatly. Each school had a unique uniform scholars had to wear. No dirty clothing or dirty shoes or, you know, unneat, oily hair and stuff like that. No chatting when we stood in straight lines to enter the classrooms. No chatting inside any classroom unless you had to answer the teacher. During my secondary school career, we dressed up like sophisticated young people. In those days, we went to church on Sundays where the cosmic laws of the Most High were preached. In fact, South Africa's legislation was rooted in the cosmic laws of the Most High God of all gods, Torah Tereh Yahweh Goria, of which you can learn in Psalm 91 in your own Bibles. Now, yeah, why would you say, okay, you were not born before. So and you also, so I think I must answer this question.
I was born before 1980.
We are 78, yeah, that's nice. Okay, then, yeah, if it's 2 years, you will not. But I can promise you in those days, you know, South Africa was one of the countries in the world with the lowest crime rate, and schools were extremely strict, as I just explained. And you know, if you were brought up in such circumstances, you know what is for the good and what not. I mean, in my days when I were, let's say, in secondary school, if I was found, let's say that I was talking back to a teacher, they would have chased me out of that school. It would become, I would almost say, it will be melted in the newspapers. You know, so strict were they. And I mean to compare that to what is going on now is one of the good reasons, you know. What do you see now? Small children nowadays lying on their backs with a cell phone. And in fact, their tummies are bigger than mine, and they will sit there, and this is what they do. So you know, if there's, if you see, they use knives in South African schools to stab one another. They assaulted the teachers and whatever. So yes, this is all contributing to this big problem. Of course, our children.
Ernst, what happened after that?
People were led by their left-wing politicians to start considering voting for a democracy in South Africa without thinking what a democracy really is. Now, what is a democracy? You know, if I hear the name democracy, I think of Margaret Thatcher, who were in those days the Iron Woman of Britain. She was very fond of a democracy. Now, what is a democracy? A democracy is a political party where the power of ruling is situated in the masses. New legislation came into place. Previously forbidden places like brothels were declared legal, and guess what? Everybody was allowed to mingle with everybody. All possible legislation were replaced by new legislation that is not rooted in the cosmic laws of the Most High, but in the laws of Satan himself. Western European parents were not allowed anymore to raise their children according to old Western traditions. Children start doing what they wanted to do because they know their parents were not lawfully in charge to beat them like in the olden days. Now,
So, Ernst, how do you recognize these children and young people today?
Oh, Nikita, modern children and younger people will not notice a difference because they did not live as children in the old regime before 1980. Today, Western European people in South Africa dress up to look proudless. You know, they will not stand up correct, you know, straight up and look in the eyes straight and talk to you. No, it's always, you know. But in any case, no self-pride, no style like before 1980. And I give my full apologies to other people, since my sincere apologies to all the small, or to the small percentage of Western people in South Africa who still dress well. You are getting extinct, I can promise you. That is what I see every day of my life. Here are a lot of magazines dated back before 1980, where modern people of today can see for themselves how we, as European people, dressed in those days. Stylish clothing, stylish hairstyles, and stylish makeup. A stylish manner of walking and driving, speaking, etc. Very respectful driving. These were proud people. We were proud people. I'm still a very proud person, but in those days, today's young people here in South Africa dressed up in rags. You cannot believe it. Just to be acceptable among their new African friends who dressed up in rags since I can remember. Modern cast-out children are either extremely skinny or totally overweight. They do not walk, they jerk around. Is jerk the correct word, Drento?
Yeah.
They jerk around. They do not live, they exist. All they know is how to play games on their cell phones. Now, most have no idea what good manners are. You know, they will lean against the wall like this, and when an adult passes by, excuse me, can you help me? You know, stuff like that. They're not standing straight, respectful. There's nothing, they do not live, they exist. Yeah, most have no idea what good manners are. Each one only for him or herself. Each and every one at the steering wheel of his or her own life here on earth. They do drugs and are often too lazy to work. The mass among them cannot even do a cleaner maid's work properly, but they expect the same salary as a graduated professional person.
Was it only due to the political change that children changed from good to worse?
No, Nikita, definitely not. The parents changed as well, unfortunately. Remember that the children born after 1980 are now in 2023 adults themselves, with their own children, most of them. Now, what happened that made such a deep impression on me? Deep enough for me to start doing research on it. It happened a few years ago. Two adult women visited my consulting room. The first woman wanted to know why her son turned out to be a cast-out since he was a small boy. She said she raised him well, but she did not know what she did wrong for this child to become a cast-out. I asked her a lot of questions, and you know, I always say I'm not here to impress people. I am here to impress my Father up there, the Most High. And I'm not here to say stuff which people like to hear. I say the truth.
Yeah.
I spread the truth.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, at that time, I could see that this woman was in a state of depression. Her son was 27 years of age and could not keep a job. He finished grade 12, but he did not want to work. He stayed with his parents and slept until late to enjoy life at night or during night times. You know, a real night person. A real overgrown baby as a mama's boy. His mom and dad must see that he has money and clothing. He's not even a man enough to provide that for himself. And those are the leaders of the future, unfortunately. Thank goodness I'll be gone by that. Although I felt sorry for her, I promised her that I would ask our guides for an answer on this matter. Her lady friend entered after she went out of the consulting room. I came to know that these two women were friends since they met decades ago. They met in a hospital birth ward where they both gave birth to a son, or to two sons. In both cases, their firstborns. Now, this woman's son became a medical doctor, while her lady friend's son became a cast-out. One guide whispered in my ear that I should continue asking her questions. I asked her if she will answer one question. She agreed. That was a very horrible question to ask, but I heard my guide ask me to ask her that, and I would get the truth answer. Now the question was, in what mood and physical condition were she and her husband when they had sex on their wedding night? Was it the first time they had sexual intercourse? Were they sober during the sexual intercourse process? Had she or her husband taken any prescribed medicine, drugs, anything, alcohol? And she explained to me that the sex on her wedding night was the first sexual intercourse for her and her husband. She explained how awesome the first time was for her and her husband. Her husband played the most beautiful romantic music in the background. They chatted until about after 2 o'clock in the morning. Then the sexual act eventually took place. Now, it was horrible questions to ask this woman, but I am glad I've asked her the questions. I thanked her for her honesty, and after I finished my consultation with her, I asked her friend if I can ask her a few questions in private. She agreed, but as soon as I asked her the same question, she burst out in tears. She told me that she and her husband never had sexual intercourse before their marriage. They used alcohol before they left the wedding party. Now, the reason why she burst out in tears was because that night her husband was drunk, and he, in her own words, forced himself on her. Now, for the part of reality Christians do not want to believe in anymore, but I need to read that because this is the answer, part of the answer on the above. Not the new generation Christians, they are part of the current Christians who are at the steering wheel of their own lives here on earth. They are practicing extreme Satanism by biblical definition. They do not know their real Most High Toratri Yahweh Goria and his cosmic laws anymore. They are part of the satanic regime, and they are proud to be Christians, even after you explain to them what a satanic or what the biblical definition of Satanism is. Now, because I come from the old regime before 1980, I know my people of that time knew the Most High in everything. To them, a marriage was a holy contract between them as the bride and groom and the Most High Toratri Yahweh Goria. He had to lead them onwards. And you know, Nikita and you, Eliska and Kobus, in those days, when they married persons, they usually, one of the best psalms they take, you know, for to use during the wedding ceremony was Psalm 91, the Most High. Because why did they choose it? Because it was the God they prayed to in those days, not other gods or anything, the Most High. If you are not a church Christian, please do not switch to another program because I say things you don't like, because the best is still to come. Remember that there are other reasons as well why children became cast-outs. I will discuss those other reasons a little bit later on in this program. What about sharing an ancient wisdom secret which is written in the
Yes.
Bible.
Oh, yes.
Now a few Christians are going to get mad, but in any case, if you are not let's get to the point. What does the Christian Bible teach us who study it properly? And that is why Christians become angry. They don't study their Bible objectively. They do it one-track minded, and this is where they skip. I am going to read from the New Testament book called The Gospel According to St. John chapter 1 verses 12 and 13. And please, please, please go back to program 1 to see which Bible is the correct Bible to, or the best in today's time to read. There are better ones, but not in our possession. And then use the correct Bible concordance, of which the number is also in that first program. Right, let's go on. But as many as receive, to them gave him power to become the sons of God, even to them that believed on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. Now that makes a big difference. If you only use the first verse 12, it means that if you believe on his name, you can become a son of God. That is not true. But why do the Christian dunamis and pastors always read only to that, the end of verse 12, and never continue with verse 13? There's a comma point, you cannot, it's not the end of a sentence. The 13th verse goes on. It started with a small letter because it's part of the previous verses, the sentence in there. So that is why, and which were born not, if you are born not of blood, nor the will of flesh, nor the will of man, but of God, then you are actually then a son of God. But if you are born outside that, in other words, by lust or something like that, and we know the cosmic laws function, how it works. Now, after my conversation with these two women, I booked the question for the guides to answer. The answer is part of the ancient wisdom secrets we share with you today. And now you must listen very carefully. To me everything is important, but this is really something outstanding. And I can bet you maybe you didn't know it before. After my conversations with these two women, I booked that question, and listen what was the answer. If sexual intercourse takes place while any of the two parties involved are intoxicated due to alcohol, drugs, lust, like the first woman in my example experienced during her sexual intercourse with her drunk, lustful husband, the cosmic law of human sexual intercourse declare the following. Here comes another ancient wisdom secret. The soberness of the two sexual partners, the clarity of the consciousness giving life forms, the radiation vibration of both sexual partners, plus the radiation vibration of the surrounding area where the sexual act takes place, will determine exactly what kind of consciousness giving life form will be attracted to the woman to be connected to the embryo that will soon be in place. Do you understand that? And you?
Yes.
And you?
Yes.
So I can assume you there. You can go and listen to this once again, because it is a mouthful, as we always say. Now, since the Better for All South Africa was replaced by Satan's utopia, young people are not educated in the cosmic laws anymore. You know, before the 1994 elections, they declared, the politicians and the Dunamis declared, it was in the newspapers, that the Holy Spirit convinced the Dunamis, you know, what is the moderator in English?
Moderator.
A moderator of the 5 biggest churches in South Africa said, if all the white people in those days, only the white people had, was legal to vote during elections. And those Dunamis and staff said, the moderators, they said the Holy Spirit convinced them that if all the whites vote yes, so that the ANC can govern South Africa, the Trinity God will come and place his utopia in South Africa for everybody's benefit. Now, I think you don't need to look further than around you to see this is not a light side. Never. They do not care anymore due to the new South Africa or South African legislation, which replaced the legislation rooted in the cosmic laws of the Most High Turatra Yahweh Korea. Children and teenagers don't care with who they have sexual intercourse anymore. They are not educational and spiritual developed to adulthood. Do you know what happens when children create children? Oh, it's horrible. But in any case, I think the upcoming,
just look outside.
yeah, the upcoming generations will experience this. But in any case, in some cases, the mother of the newborn is 13 years old, between normally 8 years and 13 years old, while the father of the newborn are 17 years old or maybe to 23. That's the average. How can they live responsible if they were forced to do without their parents helping them? You can do research on it if you feel to. I did, and I was shocked to the core. These children and teenagers become drunk or drugged, and then to attend their lust, they will have sexual intercourse with anybody willing in a dirty public toilet, on car bonnets, on graves, in brothels, and even in their parents' house with their parents' approval of it. You know, I'm old, but I'm not old age. But this is ridiculous. If you see what the outcome of it is currently in South Africa, you will agree with me. This is hateful. Nikita, you three know what I'm talking about. Drugs are available everywhere in South Africa. While on ecstasy or any of the other drugs known in a club where young people hang out, while drunk, the young teenager boys and other young men will spike their victims' drinks with a rape drug. I mean, this is general knowledge. You can buy it even from other people before you enter those places. Then the victims will be sexual abused or raped by waiting men in line for this easy opportunity. Can you imagine how many sexual diseases are transferred in this way? And not even to speak of demonic entities, which are also spread during sexual intercourse. Not all daughters are on birth control medicine. They will become pregnant eventually, so those on birth control medicine have more trouble waiting for them in future. If it was a rape drug case, all those different boys and men's sperm are being taken up in the body where the body's DNA can be affected. Do you remember where the milkman's son originated? You know, the first boyfriend to have sexual intercourse, I'm just taking an example, had red hair. The second one brown, the third one black, and so it goes on until the seventh. Now she married this man with a, let's say, fair hair. The first child, definitely his or hers, you can see it, but now all of a sudden here pops a redhead. Now where does that come from? His whole family until 7, you know, generations back, and her generations back, there's no red hairs. Now where does this come? So yeah, go on with that practice. You will see you're causing problems for yourself. Yeah, my friends out there, if it was a rape case, all those different boys' sperm will be taken up. Remember that. And furthermore, demonic entities also transfer from one partner to another partner during sexual intercourse. Earthbound human souls do. Now, before she knew she is possessed by multiple demons and earthbound human souls, and her personality is going to change for the worst, etc. Now, there are other cases as well, which I would like to share with you. A decade or two ago, a colleague of mine told me of a secret place in Bloemfontein, here in South Africa, where she saw 2 strange human life forms being kept where the public will not notice them. This was all legal. It was a psychiatric, whatever you call it. The one human life form was of a child of about 6 years old, with one eye in the middle of the forehead. Now, I need to explain something here to you. That child was lying in a bed, and it had a huge head, but one eye in the middle, no ear lobes, no, other words, only small little entrances here, a small little, you know, almost a grey alien mouth, with 2 little holes here, no nose, one eye. Now, what do you think was that? The other one she saw was on a skateboard, and he was he looked like a fish. His head was like this, you know, and the body also, but he was lying, he had no hands or feet. It was his yes, what do we finish is the fins.
Yes, the fins.
He used his fins to get along on that skateboard, and he didn't talk or anything. Yeah, medical specialists studied these 2 life forms, and these specialists focused on the body and are unaware of what the consciousness giving life forms are, who gave consciousness to these bodies. And there's another ancient wisdom secret regarding this otherworldly life forms, just for you out there, our viewer friends. Where do these 2 conscious giving life forms originate from? The one-eye Lemurian. Now this is also very interesting. You know, Lemurian, if you take only the outstanding eras, let's go back before the Western era. There was a lot of other eras, but if we go back, we are the newest ones here, or the latest humanity, or the white ones. Previously black, long time ago, Plato spoke about it. The last piece of Atlantis is sunk down. It's actually Atlantos. And then when you go back millions of years before that, you enter the Atlantos Lemurian time span, which is also millions of years, and then you enter the original Lemurian eras, or whatever you call it. You know, there's generations after generations. They start primitively, and then they work, they become better and better and better, until they were much more developed than we are today. But somewhere along the line, those people were able to speak, they communicated by means of telepathy. This is why the mouth was so small, they couldn't speak, but they communicated. And then there was a warning. Through the ages of time, since the first constellation, humanity, which were called what? Constellatici humanity. Yeah, from that time on, the cosmic laws were in place already. Trillions of years before that. But in any case, and the different humanities transgressed, then they come to a fall, and then they are wiped out, and then the next generation of humanity start being formed on Earth. Every 26,000 years that happened. But during one of the going down processes of one part of Lemuria, when they were developed to look like that child was looking, and that eye, the lady told me that when she passed that bed, and the eye followed her, and she said that I communicated with her, not as a child of 8, but as a professor deluxe on some or other. She could feel it, But in any case, and when the good Lord also, the Most High, warned them and they didn't want to hear, and then when they went down, a lot of their consciousness-giving life forms, the souls, were blocked inside a vacuum, and they had to stay there for millions and millions and millions and millions of years, until somewhere on one or other planet, two people are going to have sexual intercourse under horrible circumstances. Then they will see that light radiation and they will go for it. Takes them 1/1,000,000th of a millisecond to enter something like that. And when the child is then born, they will give consciousness to that child, and the body of the child will develop according to what they look like, as are the case with us. But in any case, what were the circumstances? Let me just see if I didn't. Yeah, I'm going to explain it. The fish-like life form were from Atlantis, or Atlantis as the most people know it. And the same happened there during one or other phase when they were in that transformation, that they can swim but be semi-amphibic as well. During those eras, the same happened. It could be a 26,000 year recreation of the Earth as a planet as well. Doesn't matter when it happens, but the same happened there, and it flipped through. So how did this all happen? Or happened? Were the father and the mother under the influence of drugs or something else when they had sexual intercourse? Now, friends, this is now a horrible piece of news, but we did a bit of research on it. And there are people, this purple stuff they call spirits or spiritus or something, which they use for, or they used it in the antiquities for primuses and stuff like that. There are people in South Africa, actually, white, black, doesn't matter, they drink those stuff. Now what happened in this example, when the woman, they tramped, now the woman is having some spirits and she passed out. And while she were passed out, a male person also under the influence of, they took it together. Now they're having sexual intercourse. She doesn't even know it because she's passed out. And this is where that Atlantean guy came in. So On the Brahmins Tower of Light webpage are a section or division marked books and courses. I have compiled a book with the name Zintu. There's a course also on this subject with the same name, Zintu. The book and course are presently only available in Afrikaans language, but the book is in line to be translated to English. Now, in fact, we are in the process of translating all books and courses in the Brahmins' writings. We are now in 2033 and it's going to take a long time. There's too many books, 76 of them, but it will be translated sooner or later. The only translator at this stage is Nikita and Ileska. These are the two who does it. And there are presently 76 books and 32 courses to translate. Sorry. Apologies for that. Of which some are more than 600 A4 pages of research material. Both Nikita and Ileska have full-time jobs and it takes time to translate these books. Now book 1, 2, 3 and courses 1 and 2 are finished, translated. They are available if you are English, if you are Afrikaans. The others are all in Afrikaans. For the Afrikaans speaking people, yes, the whole series of Brahmins' writings are available in Afrikaans if you are interested to go and have a look at it. Maybe you would like to buy some of those books. There are also other reasons why some children became cast out in their societies. Now, before I start with additional reason 1, is there anything the three of you don't understand on Zintu?
No.
No.
In other words, you know now, even if you have, cannabis is not a drug, it is a herb. Magic mushrooms is not a drug, it's a herb. A very high dimensional herb for us to use, not to misuse. And unfortunately, a lot of people misusing it, you know. Now people think it's a drug, it's not a drug. But, you know, even if you take marijuana, you smoke it or you put it in butter or wherever and now it's in your body, you cannot, you know, if you're on a very high, it's okay, but never, as long as you are covered up with white light. You know, but yeah, people don't know it, and if both are covered up with white light, and they do it for a shamanic spiritual reason, you know, I'm not allowed to talk about that, but it's an exchange of whatever you have and the other person have. That is what it's all about. Now, people don't know the secrets, and they will take a lot of, even, you know, if you take an antidepressant, little tablet in the morning, and now you are going to have sexual intercourse and you have a little wine or something in, you are tendering for horrible stuff to happen. But additional reason number 1, the world is divided into a first, a second and a third world humanities. Among my own people here in South Africa, I experienced that people can be very rude and unfair when it comes to which people are clever and which people are stupid. You know, they will decide for themselves. I don't like this guy, he's stupid, or I don't like this woman, she's stupid. But it's very unfair the way they do it. In fact, there are academic clever people and there are practical clever people. If you are practical clever, you don't need to be academical clever because you are practical clever. Give a MiG, that fast going fighter jets, give a MiG engine to to some practical people, and you may discover a rocket scientist among them. Gabo St. Me knows a doctor in pathology who cannot read or write. All his exams were orally. So if you cannot read or write, or you are not an academically very intelligent person, don't think yourself to be stupid. You are not stupid. You are stupid in the eyes of more stupid people. You are not stupid. You are practical, clever. You must understand there are two levels, and here in South Africa they don't know that. Now, yeah. In most cases, people consider practical people to be stupid. Here in South Africa, in many cases, most practical, extremely intelligent people develop inferiority complexes. These people became introverts. In fact, they have no reason at all to suffer from inferiority complex. Never suffer from something like that, even if you cannot even read or write. You're not stupid. You will be, by your Creator, will give you everything you need for your life here in the school of learning, Earth. So if He didn't give you the little programs in you as a consciousness living, giving life form to be able to read or write, it's not your fault. You don't need them. There's other stuff that you have that other people don't have. Now, while in school, their parents and other adults permanently refer to them as stupid. In most cases, these children leave the academic school to become a low-salary worker, and in some cases turn out to be cast outs. Due just to the fact that the people don't recognize intelligent practical people and intelligent academic people. So if you out there suffer from an inferiority complex and you feel like a cast out because you cannot, maybe you didn't do well in academic school, put that out of your body, out of your mind, out of your heart, everywhere. You are not stupid. And don't feel like a cast out because if you take only the academical people, where do you think all the rockets out there, the aeroplanes out there, the trains, the technology, all that stuff come from? Do you think it comes from academically? No, definitely not. So ask your professor to go and build a MiG. He cannot do it. I cannot either. But I think one of you out there can, maybe, or you are good to other stuff. And, the test will be, I would actually say, if these practical children are tested before they start attending an academic school career, the best, or the tests, will determine whether they are practical or academically inclined. Send the academic clever scholars to academic schools and the practical scholars to practical institutes where they can be trained in whatever they are the most clever in. Are you okay with that one? And you there? Don't suffer if you cannot read or write, or don't suffer even if you're an academic person, but you cannot hang something on the wall or so. You are not, of course you are not equipped. You don't need to be equipped. That is why there are more practical persons. And if you do chiromancy, you can even see it in a person's hand. If you look at my left hand and right hand, you can see it's a long hand, but the palm are quite square. On the left hand as well. I am academically and practical, but more academic than practical. If you see a person with a square hand and small, shorter fingers, practical. The shorter the fingers, the more practical usually. But if you see a long hand, something like this, a thin hand, it's more intelligent, but also practical. A lot of hairdressers and beauty practitioners, they have this long hands, very, I would almost say ladylike hands. You will know them, you know. There are a lot of them who are hairdressers and so will begin. You can very easily see it in, you know, the movement of the wrist. But in any case, what is additional reason two? Gay people like us who prefer not to live a false life in a closet usually end up as cast outs. You know, not in today's life anymore, but in when I was young, ooh, and even before that, they would have killed you. You are not allowed, you know, if they find out you are gay, you're a cast out complete. Nobody will give you a work to do. Nobody will actually take you in for studying. You don't belong here. You know, this is how far people are degraded, you know, as far as this science is concerned. They forget, you know, that the parents forget that we can only have their genes in our bodies or their parents' genes. And so if we are born gay, where does it come from? Daddy, mommy, did you have sexual in the closet affairs with others? So don't point fingers. We are your product, not anybody else's product. So people out there, if you are really in need of a little bit of, what is bemoediging? Encouragement, because you're gay and people cast you out or your own parents don't want you, please write at me. My address is on the website. Write at me and just ask for something regarding to be gay, you know, and I'll send you something that if you read that to your parents, they will be shocked to the core and they will never lift a finger again or a tongue to say anything bad on you because you are gay. Right. You know, as I said, we all end up as cast outs, but luckily for us, we are, or most of us, are all professionally qualified. And I'm talking now to Kabosi and Iliska and Nikita and myself. We've got more qualifications than most of people out there that are straight have. So, yeah, please, if there are gay people out there who cannot come out of the closet due to the fact that you will be stoned by your parents and the people in your communities, write to me. My email, you know it now, and I will send you an ancient wisdom secret that you can use on your own behalf.
There's normally in the description, I normally put your email address in, so
As well, yes.
so it would be there.
Thanks.
You
So
can just
just
look in the
come
description.
and I'll help you. I wonder what people will say who look down on gay people if they know that the Most High Torah Yahweh Goria could have those heterosexual to research deity science and complete the Brahma's writings, but he chose me, a real open gay person. Can you imagine that? He could have given this big opportunity to anybody out there. You know, the head of a university or something like that. No, he gave it to me. And people that are stream-up swimmers, we who are who we are, we who know what we know, we who are not fake to please other people, we do not follow the masses. We cannot pretend to be what we are not. We are not here on earth to impress any other person. We are here to impress the Most High, Torah Yahweh Goria. You know, if you want to be a little follower of the masses, we prefer to be leaders, and which we are. And that is what we would give to you, you know. So please, 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 never see yourself as a follower. Ask yourself, why am I a follower? do I need the public's recognition? Am I attention seeker? You know, because why are you what you are? I mean, if the whole world out there is mind controlled and living a fake life, why are you part of it? Be open, declare yourself what you are, and so what? Your Father is the one that counts, your Heavenly Father, not other fathers. Now, yeah, people who are not Christians most often become cast out. Remember that the Christian church is a place to control the masses via mind control. In fact, the majority of white Christians in South Africa see anybody who is not a Christian as a Satanist or something equal. Kabers, Nikita and I are aware any other reason, or are there any other reasons that you would like to add to this program up to now?
I can actually give a
Yes,
example of two children that's born in one house. Same mother, same father, same situation, same lifestyle, same education, everything was the same. Now, I mean, look at me and my sister. I was born before the 80s, and I'm working for what I want. But if you look at my sister, who was born after the 80s, she's the one that's just sitting and just expecting everything must be there for her. I mean, she never, ever lost a job. She's working a month or two, then she's out of it. Been married already 3 times. I think that's now the 4th husband.
Yep.
You know, Kabosi, that is true, but you must also remember we don't know what is giving consciousness to a body at this stage. You know, a lot of, what is those titles, I don't know now, forget due to old age, but you get people, they are like duchesses. You know, they come from a very high ranking planet where they did something horribly wrong, and now they are degraded to dimension 3, planet Lonakusa, which is a school of learning, and they need to start all over again. Others are not degraded, but they are being sent here because of something they did which was wrong, a transgression of one of the cosmic laws, and now they are here. And their personalities are like that. They were for ages used when they do this. 10 people are standing in line for what they must do. Now, in this life, they cannot have that, and they need to adjust to the fact, which I think you referred to your sister, which she didn't do or tried to do. But in any case, we can never know. She can be a very high duchess from somewhere or somebody else. We don't know. But I know what you're meaning. You, luckily, maybe this is your 7th or 8th life on earth. Maybe it's her first. She have.
Yeah,
We all were where she
own
were
way.
at that stage.
Yes.
So, yeah, maybe in a previous
We're
life
all
I
learning.
was also in, you know, other people must have did everything for me. No, there are people like that. Now, people, in the next program, which will be program L, we are going to share ancient wisdom secrets on the Nephilim. Ooh, goodness gracious me, what? Explain to me, what is a Nephilim?
That's going to be an
It's
awesome program.
Oh,
It's
I
the
love it.
fallen angels
Yeah.
and gods.
Yeah,
It
among others,
among
yes.
others, yes. The
Yes.
Bible, not all are dark
Yeah,
side,
not
but
all.
Yes, I know you know, but in any case, we are going to discuss both. Who were they? Where did they come from? Are all Nephilim dark side representatives? Were all Nephilim giants? That they had sexual intercourse with humans on earth to create their own seed lines? I mean, before I go even on, Can you imagine, as the Christians believe, or a lot of them believe, that the Nephilim, which were giants, had sexual intercourse with the daughters of man? I mean, can you have sexual intercourse with a giant that's 40 levels high? You know, they don't think. That is why they cannot understand. What did they look like? Those Nephilims who arrived on earth in the days of Genesis 6. And that they only came to earth during that stage, or are they still coming to earth? Of course, they are here. The other night we saw a train from, what was that name? Just give me that striped book on there. Yeah, people out there, the other night people saw this, what do you call it, the spacecraft. And I asked the guides, you know, what is this that the people saw? I'm going to use that photo in the next program. And they said it was a Lobzala line from Katoro. So in other words, it's like a, you know, a train that moves with a lot of stuff. It's got what do you call it, trucks. That's one joined to the other. There were about, 23, 24 spacecraft joined to one another. They flew over Bloemfontein in South Africa. People could see it with their naked eyes, and nobody reported it. Why? Because they were inside listening to more mind control programs to fit in the mess.
Exactly.
You know, I cannot even think. But please don't miss it. What did they look like? Are they still among us? And do Nephilim still visit Earth? Oh, yeah, now they've got the, of course. They just went over Earth the other night, which I will show you the photo. Please do not miss out on it.
If you've missed out on any previous programs in this series, please catch up. Otherwise, you may not understand the meaning of present and forthcoming titles, ranks, humanities, etc.
And do not forget to press the, please people, I'm very serious about that. A lot of other people also need this knowledge.
Yeah, please.
Don't be selfish or feel, I'm not going to share it. Give it to people you know will benefit from it. It will count on your behalf at the end of days. And do not forget to press the subscribe, the like and share buttons, as well as the little bell icon to be in line for more ancient wisdom secrets. And until next time, love and light to you all.
Bye.
Bye.